What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the first episode of the Getting Technical podcast. I am joined by Sam P. and Raleigh. Appreciate you guys coming on. Appreciate you guys joining, us three as a collective unit with, I know we love sports, and we've been doing this since we were in 8th, ninth, 10th grade, always debating at lunch or wherever we were, party.
Basketball court just after everybody's gas, you just start messing around, just start arguing anytime, anywhere.
Exactly. So, me and Raleigh kind of ran into each other about, I don't know, a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I would say probably about a month ago at this point. Yeah.
And we just kind of made it happen. But I'm glad we finally, got it going. And, I think this is going to be really cool moving forward.
Yeah. Finally getting it started. So much talking always with stuff like this, and it's like you never actually do it, and now we're here.
Yeah, it's
cool.
Always tough to kind of get things started, especially with how crazy everything is nowadays. I mean, in all aspects of life, really. Nice. I mean, and the fact that it's this late, we tried getting started 2 hours ago. I mean, something always seems to happen, man. It's unbelievable,
always,
but
yeah.
I'm glad we finally got something going.
Yeah, that was what me and you said. We was like, all right, let's actually do this. Let's not just say because we ran into each other. Let's actually get through, follow through with it. So.
The amount of times I've done that, where I'm like, I'm gonna do this.
And it
just
how you
never
were
happened.
just saying, you just bought the Nikon camera. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start photographing everything. I saw you wipe the dust off and everything. You took the SD card out.
Bro. But obviously, so this is going to be a podcast about basketball and football debating and kind of like predictions, our all-time list, you name it. So there's endless things to speak about. But I think our first segment that we'll jump into is the winners and losers of the offseason so far. So
let's get into it.
Yeah, we can start right to left. If Raleigh, you want to get us started, talk about your winners and losers of the offseason.
All right.
We'll chime in.
I'll start with my winners. I mean, to be honest, I feel like this was a really slow offseason so far. I think the KD trade and Donovan Mitchell, all that stuff has been just holding everything up.
For sure.
So my first winner, a little controversial, maybe a little bit of a homer. I'm going to go with the Knicks. Just because of solidifying that point guard position, I really like Hartenstein, who they signed. And I was telling Zach before about this tweet Tommy Beer had about the Knicks point guards.
Mm-hmm.
So every Knicks starting point guard on opening night since 2009. So we got Chris Duhon, Raymond Felton, Tony Douglas, Raymond Felton again, Pablo Prigioni, Shane Larkin, Jose Calderon, Derrick Rose, Ramon Sessions, Trey Burke, Trier, Peyton, and then Kemba.
Wow.
It's just been a train wreck. And even before that, I mean, I can't even mark. Who was the last great point guard they had?
Marbury.
Marbury, you could. Yeah, he was
the
good.
best point guard they've had in a long
and then
time.
it's you go all the way back, and it's I don't know, Mark Jackson.
Yeah.
Starks.
Yeah. He was a
Starks.
two.
Yeah, he was
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think just getting that, and it's even with that, their young core, there's no move. Even if they trade for Donovan Mitchell, there's no move for them to really be a true contender.
Yeah.
But it's they're building a little bit of a base.
Yeah.
And a young core. So I like that, and I'm just a fan of Brunson. And then my other winner is the Pistons. I felt like they killed the draft.
Yeah.
Ivy. I mean,
they got Durant too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that they did the Knicks trade.
Yep.
Yeah. They took on Burks and Noel and Kemba.
The Knicks got absolutely torched in that.
That was a weird trade.
For hours, people were so confused as to what they actually got in that deal and how they were actually moving forward. And Leon Rose came out and said some kind of generic statement saying, this is really part of our plan. We actually have something going on. It doesn't really seem that way just yet. And unless they get Mitchell, I mean,
they were covering up last offseason. The Knicks they whiffed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just seems like
it's
every single
year. They had
year.
that first round exit. They got hyped. They brought in Kemba, which I didn't. I think you do that deal. Kemba for 2 years? It was I think $8 or $9 million a year.
Yeah, I mean they got a steal.
And then it just didn't work out. But yeah, Ivy. I mean, I like Keegan Murray a lot. Who the Kings drafted?
Kings guy, yeah.
He's killing it in summer league too. But Jaden Ivey at 5?
Yeah.
And then I like it. And then Cade's awesome. So those are my two winners.
Who's your losers, real quick?
My losers, I mean, I don't think there was a true loser. I got the Wizards and the Nets.
Just because
I think the Wizards just like, I mean, Bradley Beal's great. But,
they gave him $250 million.
The contract is just crazy.
Yeah.
And they got like, I don't know, like.
Yeah. Not to go out of turn or anything, but like I agree. I had them as one of my losers also because there's really no direction for either party in that situation. Like Beal, they know that they're not gonna make the playoffs, make the play-in or anything because they're basically running it back. Beal's not gonna get a ring. I mean, now his contract is basically untradeable for any team that's already in position to contend. And now the Wizards. I mean, last year they finished 11th in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
so then,
like that, yeah.
so if they end up with the same record as last year, they're not in position to get a top lottery pick either. So they're both parties are stuck in no man's land, and it's kind of like, what is it? What is the direction? What is the motive for each party?
Yeah, they probably should have just shopped Beal and just kind of really cleaned house.
Yeah.
It's the only way to really do it, but to kind of stay still competitive and then not really make any moves, you're just kind of, like you said, you're going to stay in the same spot.
And I think that also has to do with what Raleigh was saying, how the Kevin Durant deal really kept everybody at a standstill. Nobody really knew what anybody was worth at that point because of the ridiculous asking price that the Nets wanted for Kevin Durant. I think it really kind of halted the market in total. So, I mean, it's kind of a tough situation. And now they have like him and Kristaps. Is that really your core that you're going for? It's
no, that's tough. You're not gonna win with that.
But at the same time, it's like the Gobert trade kind of like ruined everything with the KD thing as well, because he what was it 4 unprotected and like 2 swaps. It was like a total of like 6 picks.
Yeah, it was 6 picks I think.
And it's like if Rudy Gobert's worth that, what the hell is Kevin Durant worth?
Priceless
like,
at that point.
That's why I put the Nets like. I don't think they'll ultimately be losers. I think Kevin Durant's going to have to stay. Like, I don't see now that they matched for Ayton, he can't be traded until like the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So, I don't see a Kyrie. I think a report came out yesterday that the Nets don't want Westbrook.
Yeah,
And that's the only way he gets to LA.
Yeah.
That Kyrie gets to LA. So
I did see one other one that involved the Spurs,
like a 3-team.
Where Westbrook would go to San Antonio. I saw that. I didn't really look at the details.
So what does Brooklyn get out of it?
I didn't really look at the details.
Okay.
It just said that the Spurs are likely landing spot for Westbrook if a trade were to happen.
Right.
But
I think their best bet is just to run it back in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see how it works with Ben Simmons.
KD
I think Ben
himself,
Simmons is a better fit than Harden.
Yeah,
definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, my other loser was the Mavs. Obviously losing Brunson hurts.
Absolutely.
But on top of it, you don't get Luka any help, offensively or defensively.
You didn't like the Christian Wood pickup?
I mean, yeah, like that helps to a certain extent, but I mean, you're basically swapping out Wood for Brunson because Brunson was on the up and coming up with the end of the year, and then obviously what he did after that. But is Christian Wood really that much of an upgrade that's going to propel them into a top 5 consideration in the West? Probably not. I mean, they're not going to be consistent, especially now that we see what Minnesota got.
Yeah.
Minnesota now has one of the best 3-point shooting big men in the league and a defensive player of the year candidate. What does Dallas have outside of?
Yeah, when you look,
and you have to assume Christian Wood's trajectory continues.
Yeah,
because I mean we've seen people kind of burn out after a solid year. I mean, so I don't know. I just don't really like what Dallas has going on just yet.
Yeah. My losers actually. I had the Knicks. I think
it was a hot take. Saying
I think Jalen Brunson was overpaid.
Winning.
I think it was a typical New York thing.
Is it an overpay though? Like
I get it because like everyone is getting paid like a ridiculous amount.
And
of
there's
money.
a tax on the free agents, and also in a year or two, like I think he's like the 7th. I haven't checked. I know it's in the range of like he's in like the 17th highest paid point guard.
Yeah, but
after LaMelo gets extended, a few other guys, I think he'll be closer to like 20th.
I think there was like a statistic where he was the highest paid player that wasn't like an all-star or an all-NBA guy.
Yeah, it was I think he was the first person to sign a contract over $100 million on a new team.
On a new team, right.
So like there have been guys that have done it who have been like re-signed who weren't all-stars, but it was on the same team. So if the Mavs had signed him.
Yeah. I also have the Lakers. They just haven't made a move yet.
I mean,
I get it. They're trying to get Kyrie, but they just haven't done anything yet, and they lost Malik Monk.
Yeah, even though he said he was really interested in coming back.
Yeah, and he looked really good. But,
he did.
The winners I have, probably not a lot of people have, but I have the Warriors with the pickup with DiVincenzo.
Yeah, he's good.
He's really good. He's super underrated. He started on Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You know, on a you know, I know he was hurt when he had foot surgery, ankle surgery, but that's a guy that's a 3-and-D guy. He's going to come in there. He's going to play off the ball. He's going to defend. He's going to be in that 7-8 man rotation, and he's going to help them a lot.
Yeah, which is perfect after they lost Gary Payton.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's another team, Portland. What is your trajectory at this point? I mean, you're basically downgrading from where you traded McCollum.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they extended Simons for over $100 million.
And they brought back Nurkic.
And then they traded for Grant.
Like, what is the direction of that team also?
Yeah.
I think it's I mean, Dame's extension was wild.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to.
It's not for like a few years, but $60 million a year.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I'd rather have him on my team than anywhere else.
Absolutely,
yeah. Then I had the Celtics also, and I mean also with the Warriors, Patrick Baldwin was like a steal in the draft.
And
He's
the fact
really
that they could
talented.
bring back like Looney and
the core and you know that's why they've been so great over the past 8-9 years.
And obviously, I mean, getting back Wiseman.
Is really
gonna
knows
help,
how he's
obviously.
gonna develop.
Yeah.
And then the other one was just the Celtics. Honestly, just the pickup of Brogdon I think is going to be key because Smart is not a true point guard. He's kind of like a pit bull defender. He can kind of handle it, but towards the end of a game, you need a primary ball handler.
Right.
Tatum and Brown are not that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Brogdon has playoff experience, and he's very fundamentally sound. He is very savvy. He's a great passer. He can knock down the 3-ball. He shoots 90% from the free throw line. So I think he'll be a huge addition as like a veteran, experienced point guard coming in, because him and Smart will be interchangeable, but I guarantee Brogdon will have the ball in his hands as the primary ball handler as the game,
So,
windows
end
down.
of the game, what kind of lineup do you think they're going to put out there?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Smart.
So they're going to
Smart and Brogdon.
Okay.
Yeah, so small ball.
Tatum and Brown, and then Robert Williams.
So small ball.
Or you could even
Horford.
rock with Grant Williams or Horford.
Yeah.
Yeah, either one. But I think
it's
probably Horford, honestly. But we'll see how he is coming back.
But it's just another like good basketball player on their team. Like,
Oh, yeah, for
they're
sure.
loaded.
Yeah, they're good.
And Brogdon, if he can stay healthy, which I feel like he probably can, he's not going to have like that pressure with the minutes and stuff like that. So he's just going to be able to do his thing.
Yeah, hopefully he'll stay healthy.
I like that pickup a lot.
Talk about your winners.
Winners, I got the Clippers. I think obviously getting back Kawhi is a huge add for them. John Wall joining the team. I think as long as he can stay healthy, he's another one like Brogdon. The health is just the main issue. Bringing back Zubats, I think was a big thing for them. I think that having that primary rebounder down low, letting kind of everybody else space the floor, letting PG go one-on-one would be huge. So that was my first winner. The next one was the Bulls. And I looked into it. I was looking at defensive ratings, and 3 of the people they added, Dragic, Drummond, and Derrick Jones Jr., all had just above league average defensive ratings. And the Bulls overall were ranked, I believe, 26th in team defensive rating last season.
Okay.
So just getting that upgrade, obviously bringing back Levine and letting him and DeRozan and Lonzo and letting them go to work offensively and having that second unit come out and kind of like stifle the offense when it's time for your starters to get a rest, I think will really kind of propel them into that like top 2, top 3 range with Boston, Miami, and obviously Milwaukee.
Cool. So that's kind of wraps up that segment. I guess, what do you guys want to jump into next? I mean, I know we have a bunch.
You want to get into just the award predictions right away?
Yeah, we can
kick
do
it
that
off.
right away. So, whoever.
I guess I'll start again.
So this is our 2022, 2023, obviously, award predictions for the end of the season.
You want to go through each award, or you want to say like your MVP, my MVP?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's start with MVP then.
Yeah, so who you got?
I took Luka.
I took Luka as well.
I feel like
also.
okay, especially like with no Brunson, like he's
gonna
just
have to
gonna
do everything.
His usage rate is gonna be insane.
Yeah,
like, it might be historic.
And then I think with the addition of Wood, it's going to help him a lot. Pick and roll, throwing lobs. I think Luka. Think about it. Jalen Brunson, he's not ball dominant, but when he gets the ball, like he's looking to go to work.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now Luka is just going to have the ball almost probably, I don't know, 70% of the time,
Yeah.
which is insane on
Yeah.
the court, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could average 34, 35 a game next year. And it's crazy that it's
and
not
he's still
even
gonna get close to 10 assists.
Yeah.
He'll still be in like top 5, top 10 range.
He's gonna go crazy.
Okay.
And you see the
Yeah.
picture of him, like he's in shape now.
Yeah, he looks
Yeah,
better.
He's been
saw
coming
that.
into the season like
Facts.
that, like Harden-esque. Like he's coming in like out of shape.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now he's like looking like he's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I think he's going to be
And he's
insane
reaching
this
that
year.
athletic prime kind of situation.
Yeah.
Even though he's not an overall athletic guy. I mean, he's not really going to wow you. But as long as he kind of like is able to stay in shape, get a better quick first step off the ball, I think it's really going to help him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
What's next?
I have most improved next. What do you guys have next?
Yeah, we can do most
that.
improved.
Most improved.
I mean, honestly, I kind of struggled like finding someone, so I picked RJ Barrett. I mean, I just think, especially like Donovan Mitchell trade potential aside, like he's got a point guard now, and I think Grimes is gonna start over Fournier.
Okay.
He should.
And I just think like if he can improve a few things, like obviously he has a lot of things overall to improve on. But if he can just become a little bit more of a consistent free throw shooter, he was getting to the line a lot
Yeah,
last
he was.
year. And he's just like, he's kind of in that like 70-75% range. Like he could go 8 for 8 one night, but then he could have a night where he's 4 for 9 or something. So I think if just that alone, I think gets him to like 23, 24 a game if he
Wow.
could do that. And that's if they don't get Donovan. If they get Donovan Mitchell,
Right,
he's probably
yeah.
not going to be doing this stuff.
Mhm.
And then I think just like he just needs to improve like his Jeez, I'm blanking.
I mean, RJ
His
definitely
efficiency.
is
That's the
capable.
word I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
for.
he's kind
I just think he has a lot of potential. It's like I'm sure there's a bunch of players. If you gave me a list of, I'd be like, yeah, I could see that. But he just came to mind right away.
Yeah. I had Anthony Simons.
I
I
like
think
that.
I think with a full season without CJ McCollum and
with Dame.
Dame should be back. I think
Yeah.
him playing off of Dame, I think he could be a 22, 23 point per game guy, and he'll get you 6, 7 assists.
Yeah, he's a
I
bucket
think
for sure.
I think he'll be really good. I think he could be even like all-star-esque if they win. You know, with him, Dame, Nurkic.
But you don't think him splitting time with Gary Payton Jr. is gonna kind
Nah.
of take away that?
Nah,
No?
not at all. Gary Payton's gonna be Gary Payton. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna be another defensive guy, just like he was on the Warriors. He's not gonna be a 30-minute per game guy. Simon's gonna be playing 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
I
Right.
personally think, and I think with those two guys in the backcourt, Nurkic, I think they have a chance to be, a 7-8 seed in the West. There's a chance with
Yeah.
Dame. You know what I mean? When you have an elite level guy to win in the NBA, you need that elite level guy. So
Right.
they have that.
Sure. I guess it's another homer pick, like how you picked RJ. I picked Jalen. I think now that he's kind of has his own team. I mean, he's had success in big spots now. I think the opportunity for him to be more ball dominant, how you were saying, like when he gets the ball, he's ready to go to work.
Yeah.
I think having that opportunity is really going to let him kind of flourish. And obviously being home and having his dad's on the bench, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So having his dad on the bench, I think that overall confidence is really going to help him kind of solidify himself as one of the top point guards in the league.
Cool. What's next?
I got Defensive Player of the Year.
Go for it.
I picked Giannis.
Giannis.
I just think like I think he's just the best player in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
And he's just everywhere. He can guard everyone. He's just a problem.
Yeah.
All around, like, I don't know. I mean, I thought about picking Gobert.
That's who I have. I took Gobert.
Just because, like,
Yeah,
he
I took
just,
Gobert,
all
too.
those advanced stats, like, he's just
I just think
historic. I think he's, like, historic in those, like, advanced defensive metrics and
Yeah,
stuff.
no, he is.
But I did not want to pick Rudy Gobert.
I just don't know if the NBA will give Giannis a Defensive Player of the Year just because of how close he is to MVP, and I
Yeah.
highly doubt they'll give both. It just seems like they
Yeah.
want someone new almost every year. I get it, Jokic won back-to-back, but I doubt they'll give it back. Jokic could average the same thing this year. I doubt they'll give him MVP again.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I just think Gobert just playing with Cat now in the front court. He'll be on the floor a little more. He won't get so many fouls, having to guard the best big. He can take some plays off and come from the backside help and get probably another block a game.
Right.
And then I think, playing with, obviously he had Donovan Mitchell, but, now playing with Anthony Edwards, D'Lo. They have a legit team, I think, which is better than that Utah team. At least over the past 2 years, I think they're going to be, a lot better. And I think Cat is going to take a big toll off of his shoulders, just because Gobert's never really played with another prime big.
Yeah.
You know, this is the first front court that we've seen that's been this dominant since, I don't know, what, Boogie and AD?
Yeah, but they weren't even that great together. I mean, obviously, like, the talent was there, but I feel that Gobert overall defensively is better than AD. AD had the athleticism on him, but I think people are more scared to go down low against Gobert rather than AD.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but for the same exact reasons, I have Gobert as my defensive player of the year.
Cool.
I think having it obviously helps Karl Anthony Towns offensively because now he's one of the better shooting big men in the league, so he can definitely kind of space the floor and let him kind of go to work, and it'll take less opportunities defensively for him to kind of get picked on.
Yeah.
So I think that'll kind of help them both offensively and defensively. But yeah, I think Gobert is going to be the perfect situation for him to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Facts. What we got next?
Six man?
I got rookie. I can go six man. You want to go six man?
Whatever. Yeah, go 6 man quick. Yeah.
Six man was another one that was kind of like difficult because we don't really know. I mean, the Heat could trade Harrow. Like I probably would have, if I knew Tyler Harrow was going to be back in Miami, I probably would have went with him. But I think Kevin Love was the runner-up this year, and I'm picking Kevin Love. I just think that he's like found his role with the Cavs.
Yeah.
And it's like for a while he was like trying to get his way out of there. He was so frustrated, and now that they just got great players around him, I think that he knows exactly what his role is on this team, and I think like, especially if Harrow's not there, like I think it's gonna be him and Jordan Clarkson. I mean, he's stuck in Utah now, so.
And if they trade Donovan Mitchell, he's probably gonna have to start.
Or if he gets traded too. I mean, there's a lot of things that could change for the six man, but right now, like Kevin Love's not going anywhere, so I'm rocking with him.
I got Jordan Poole. I think with him having a whole year now with Golden State and then now playing with Klay, I think he's a little more comfortable. Obviously, Klay came back, and then he had to find his way off the bench now. And you know, when he was out there starting, it looked like he was another Splash Brother. Then there was, flashes where he kind of looked, kind of out of place. Didn't really know when to shoot, when not to shoot. But I think he'll kind of find his role this year as a six man, and I think he'll be right around that 17, 18 points per game. I think the Warriors are going to be top 2, top 3 seed again in the West. So
yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah, I like Jordan Poole.
Yeah, like you said, you don't really know what the lineups are going to look like just yet, but I took Michael Porter Jr. I think it's time for him to kind of take that step. And I think that obviously the Nuggets are always going to be a top team in the West. They're always going to be able to compete with Jokic. But I think if he's able to come off the bench and give you a solid 16, 17 and really try and turn into a defensive menace. I mean, he has a great frame. The health is obviously the main issue with him and consistency. So I think that if he's able to kind of stay consistent and stay healthy, I think Michael Porter Jr. will definitely be in that running.
Cool.
Word. So, Rookie of the Year. I went with Keegan Murray. Just because I think he's going to have, like, a lot of opportunity in Sacramento. Like, a few of the other guys, like, I don't even know. OKC, like, I'm pretty sure they're just going to try and tank again. I don't know if they're going to let Chet kind of do his thing, maybe. But Keegan Murray's, like, I feel like out of all those guys, he might have been the most pro-ready. He doesn't have the highest ceiling
right.
like those other guys, but, I mean, he's a bucket. He's been going off in Summer League. I just think he's going to get a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be pretty good, like, low-key. Like, they picked up Monk, right?
Yes.
And they traded for Kevin Huerter.
Yeah.
I think the Kings, like, I mean...
You got De'Aaron Fox.
I think they're more like a play-in team, but, like, I think they have a chance of being a playing team, which is a lot for them since I don't think they've been to the playoffs since, like, 06.
Yeah, even though that division is tough.
Yeah.
The Pacific
It might have
division
even
is
been
tough.
before that.
Yeah.
It might have been like 01 when it was like Mike Bibby and Stojakovic and those guys.
It's so bad. But I think he's going to be really good for them. So that's why he's my pick.
Okay. I had Banchero. I just think he's just the most NBA ready, just physically. He came out in the combine. He was 6'10 and a half or something with shoes on. He's like 260 pounds. He just seems like he's just going to be super dominant. He can shoot the ball. He has a nice mid-range. He has good post, face up. And then I like that Orlando team. That Orlando team is kind of coming together too. Yeah.
They're another team just like Sacramento. They're a young team that's kind of being built together and coached together.
If you think about it, there's like no teams that are just like, you look at them and like they got nothing going for them. Like every team has like some exciting young players. Like
except for the Wizards.
Seriously,
yeah.
Basically,
I was gonna say even Portland, but Anthony Simmons, like how you brought it before. I think that he's
Nurkic,
like,
like at least they have 3, but like it's
every
just
team's
Bradley
got
Beal out
guys
there
like
by
if
himself.
they're on TV, like I'm like I could watch them.
Yeah.
Like this could be cool.
Yeah, the NBA is super talented right now.
It's crazy.
I picked him too.
Yeah, Banchero.
Yeah, I
also,
had Banchero also.
I mean,
this.
they pulled him out of summer league. They're like, we've seen enough. Like,
Yeah. There's no.
Just
When I saw
nice.
that, I thought he got hurt.
Yeah, no,
There was like a
you're too good for
headline like Banchero out for the summer league. I'm like, no. I'm like, come on. But then they was like, nah, we've seen enough. So that was good.
Bet. You guys
So-
want to get into?
All time.
I'm down for that. I'm down for all time.
All right, let's hear your all time top 10, Sam.
So 1 through 3 is always the same for me. It's LeBron, MJ, Kareem. I think LeBron.
You got LeBron at 1?
LeBron, MJ, Kareem.
Okay.
LeBron said it himself, and I've agreed since that 2016 run. I think kind of solidified it for him. I mean, him basically he averages a triple double in the finals for his career. I think he's kind of proven himself. He's going to end up being the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. He'll have 10,000 rebounds. He'll have 10,000 assists. He's been longevity-wise the most dominant player in NBA history. I think it's kind of at least for me an easy pick, and he lived up to the hype coming out of high school. He lived up to the hype, and he's kind of surpassed everybody's expectations.
Yeah.
MJ too. I mean, obviously, 6-0 in the finals. I mean, nobody else is going to go past him other than LeBron. I can't see anybody else in today's game. Obviously, somebody could come out in the next couple of years out of college and kind of make a statement for themselves, but we're not going to find out for another 20 years.
Yeah.
So I think MJ's kind of solidified at number 2 now. Kareem, I mean, his stat line and kind of success speaks for himself.
He's got his own shot.
Yeah, he got his own shot, exactly. 4 through 6, I constantly flip-flop on. I have it right now as Kobe, Bird, Magic. It's always flip-flopped. I've always had maybe Bird 4, Magic 4, and kind of flip-flop that way. But when I think about it, I think about the Lakers franchise, obviously with our age group. Kobe's the first person that comes to mind.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of give him the edge over Magic. They both have 5 rings. Kobe was better defensively, and he's better defensively than Bird. That's why I put him at 4. And for Bird, Magic, they're kind of maybe 5A, 5B. It's really kind of the same player.
They always got to be together.
They always got to be together.
Yeah.
It'll never change, and that's why there's 65 different documentaries about them. So that's how I got it. I got Kobe, Bird, Magic 4 through 6. I got Shaq at number 7, most dominant player in NBA history.
Yep.
And I got Hakeem, another player who has basically their own move named after them. I got Duncan at number 9. Another one who's had basically the longevity closest to anybody. Then I got Wilt at 10, and I have Steph at 11 with a question mark because after this run, he has the Finals MVP, 4 Finals total, first unanimous selection as an MVP. I think he's getting into that zone. Obviously, we'll see when his career is over. He's only 33, 34.
Yeah.
He has at least another 4 or 5 years in him at top end basketball. Especially as a shooter, so I think he'll be able to get there. But as of right now, I have Wilt at 10 just because we don't know what the end of Steph's career looks like.
Cool. Mine, I've always kind of struggled with Michael Jordan or LeBron. But just as of right now, I still have to put Michael Jordan first.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to. So I got Michael Jordan 1, LeBron number 2, Kobe 3. I feel like that, for me, that's always been my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
4, I got Kareem, all-time leading scorer right now.
Right.
5, I have Shaq, like you said, most dominant player in history. When I just feel like it's crazy for people not to have Shaq in the top 5 sometimes, or like sometimes people leave him at the top 10, and I'm just like, come on, like
Who, Shaq?
Shaq, yeah, which is it's insane that happens. 6, I have Steph. I have 6. I have Steph at 6.
So you have Steph over Bird and
Yes.
Magic. Okay.
Yes, I do. Just because I get it, Bird and Magic changed the game also, and they say they saved the NBA in the 80s. Sure,
Right.
and I respect that. But I just think what Steph has done to the NBA and what he's done to the game of basketball, and no one in history has done what Steph has done with the jump shot.
Yeah, he's changed the game more than anyone probably in the
like,
history of the sport.
Yeah, like LeBron is a better version of Magic. And now you're seeing, and I'm not comparing these guys to Magic, but now you are seeing a lot of big point guards, Ben Simmons, Lonzo Ball, you know what I mean? You're seeing a lot of point forwards, even like a guy like Giannis. He's getting you 5-6 assists a game.
Yeah, ball dominant people who are over over like 6'6", 6'7".
Right, and I don't want people to take it out of context, like, oh, he's comparing Magic Johnson to Lonzo. Like, no, but like there will be other Magics. I don't know if there will be another Steph Curry. Right, so sure you can say you're Trae Young's, you're Dame Lillard, but like what Steph did, everyone else is following him. Okay, so I have Steph at 6. Then I have Bird and Magic. I have Bird 7, Magic 8. They're interchangeable. Doesn't really matter who's first. I got Timmy at 9, and then I got Wilt at 10. And I just feel like you have to put Wilt in the top 10 at least for now until we see some other people.
Yeah, he's 10 for me also.
I mean, like
So
Luka could be a guy that cracks the top 10 when he's all said and done. That might bump Wilt to 10 or 11 or 12. But I just feel like from what he's done with his stats, I mean, you have to put the guy had like I saw a stat the other day. He had like 54 points, 33 rebounds, 22 blocks, and 11 steals or something like that. And like one game, it's like, come on. I get it, who he was playing against, but you have to put him in your top 10 at least for now.
He basically like there's like a story that he like decided one year. He's like, people said he couldn't pass, so he's like, I'm gonna lead the league in assists,
and he did it. Yeah,
he led the league in assists.
Right. But, so you have Hakeem out of your top 10.
Yeah, Hakeem's not in my top 10.
And outside of the reasons for everybody else being in it, why don't you think Hakeem is worthy of top 10?
I just don't think he's better than anyone else on this list. I don't know if he has the resume that all these guys have. Like MJ, he's not better. LeBron, no. Kobe, no. Kareem, no. Shaq, no.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, like 9 and 10. I mean, for me, I think he's better than Wilt for the fact that we've seen him against top end centers, and Wilt obviously, I mean, he had to go up against Russell, and we saw how that played out. I mean, Russell has 11 rings, so I mean, we saw who won that kind of matchup. Yeah. But I think that Hakeem showed up against everybody. I mean, he played in the era of the bigs with, I mean, a young Shaq, David Robinson, towards the beginning of Tim Duncan.
I mean, I have Hakeem at 11.
Oh, okay.
Like Hakeem is my 11, but I just feel like I have to put Wilt in front of him just for what Wilt has done.
Yeah,
with his just stats, it's just
mere
stats.
But that's why I bring up all the people that Hakeem played against, just because.
Right. Yeah. Who
maybe Hakeem would have done the same thing against them. So that's why the era thing kind of like.
Yeah, the era thing does play a role. But
it also makes it like, at the end of the day, like, we didn't watch Wilt play, we didn't watch Bill Russell, like most people haven't, and it's like, it's impossible to really compare. So it's kind of like some of the other guys. Like, I'll go through my list.
Yeah.
I mean, I got an interesting. So I got MJ at 1 also.
Okay.
I got LeBron at 2. I got Kareem 3. I got Magic at 4.
Mm-hmm.
This next one, I got Duncan at 5.
Okay.
Bird 6. Shaq 7. Kobe 8. Bill Russell 9. Wilt 10. And then I had Steph at 11.
Okay.
And then I think I had Hakeem 12. These lists are just like so hard. Like, I feel like if I ask myself like next week, I'd change it.
Yeah.
But I think like the main few, like MJ, I mean, he's just Jordan. Like,
right.
6-0 in the finals. I feel like in a few years, like when LeBron's done, I'll probably have LeBron at 1, because he's gonna have all these records. I think he might be able to get another ring, and then the rest of them. I mean, I just think like Duncan was just like he didn't do anything fancy. But he just did it all at a high level for so long, won 5 titles. And then I got Shaq pretty high above Kobe, just because, like you said, Sam, he's like the most dominant center of all time.
Right.
And like the things that he was doing on the court were just wild. And then Bill Russell, I didn't really want to put him there, but he's got so many rings. And then he like coached he coached like 2 years too, I think, and played.
Yeah.
And then Wilt, he's got all the stats. So outside of like the top 3, like it's so interchangeable to me.
Yeah.
But that's what I got right now.
I mean, the top 11 is going to be the same for basically
and then
anybody.
you got like KD, and I think in a few years like Giannis will enter the conversation, and then we'll have Luka probably in a few years. Like,
well, a few years. I think Luka needs at least 10 years in the league before you even start talking about him in the top 20 at least.
Yeah, I think Luka will be an all-time top 5 scorer.
Like, the numbers he's
Sure,
putting
yeah,
up already so
eventually,
low.
I'm just saying right now he's probably not. For me, I mean, if I had to go through it and kind of like actually think about it, he probably wouldn't be in my top 30, top 40 yet.
Really?
I mean, there's so many players that have the
Yeah, but
longevity.
you're just
and the
projecting
stats.
at this
Well,
point.
if you're projecting it for sure, yeah, like you said, he'll be probably in the top 5 of scoring. He'll probably be in the top 10 all time. But as of right now, today, if the NBA ended, I mean,
Oh, yeah, no, of course.
he's
he hasn't done
not
enough yet.
he's not in
no.
the top 30.
No.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
no.
saying.
Yeah, it makes sense. So next we was just going to go into top 10 today. In today's game.
Word.
I'll go quick through it. I have Steph 1 just because of what he did last year. I just think the reason, and I have Giannis 2, and this will probably be the only one I will like dissect. The only reason I have Steph over Giannis is because the Celtics showed that Giannis can be beat because his lack of ability to shoot the basketball.
Right.
Okay, I get it. They didn't have Chris Middleton, but you can collapse in the paint and you can wall up and you can, really just play, all in the paint. Robert Williams, Horford, Tate, You got 4 big, strong guys, long, and not that Giannis struggled, but
He wasn't who we saw he was when he played against the Suns.
And then I remember, the Sixers did that to Giannis a couple years ago.
Right.
But how do you can't game plan for Steph? You have to pick him up when he crosses half court.
Right.
You can clog the paint. You can trap a ball screen. He'll pass.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can play under. He'll shoot it. I just think Steph is just on another level right now. So I got Steph 1, Giannis 2. I got Luka 3, Jokic 4, LeBron 5. I'm going to throw Kawhi 6. I know he didn't play last year, but Kawhi will be a top 10 player in the NBA this year. Kawhi 6. I got KD 7, Embiid 8, Tatum 9, and Jimmy Butler 10.
Okay.
The reason I threw Jimmy Butler in there is because what that guy does in the playoffs is ridiculous, and it's kind of obvious that he kind of cruises through the year, averages 17, 18, and then he averages 35 in the playoffs almost the past 3 years.
Right.
He averaged, 40 in the finals against LeBron in the bubble year. So I think Jimmy is definitely in the top 10 with just everything that he brings to the table.
All right. For me, I got Jokic 1. I mean, back-to-back MVP. I really think that if you got that going for you, you're number 1. I got Giannis 2. I flip-flop between this. Eventually, I picked Bron 3, Steph 4.
Okay.
Luka 5, KD 6, Embiid 7, Kawhi 8, Tatum 9, and then 10 I picked Dame.
Okay.
Yeah, I think obviously we were saying before Portland's going to kind of have a tough year, I think. But I think Dame is another person who can average 30 if he wanted.
Yeah.
And we saw it this year. I think he's a better scorer than Butler. And especially now that he doesn't have the kind of help that Butler has down in Miami,
Right.
I think just overall as a player, I think Dame is just better. So that's what I got. And with I'm surprised you put KD that low. I think KD is just outside the top 5 just with health reasons. But
I think so healthy. What do you guys think? So both fully healthy, Kawhi or KD?
I guess both fully healthy. I think I would still take KD.
Really?
We've seen KD. Top end KD is an MVP and a scoring champion.
The only thing is the recency bias. Like, he did not look good in the playoffs.
I know, but we also haven't seen Kawhi in over a year.
Well, that's the thing, but we're saying both healthy. But then again, it's like we haven't seen Kawhi in so long. I'd probably go KD, but it's close for sure.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, I mean, I have Kawhi 6, KD 7.
I have them both
Yeah.
outside the top 5, though.
Yeah.
I think another thing with Kawhi is we haven't seen him for so long, and we saw the same thing with Klay. Klay struggled, but he's also not a top end. He's a top end player, but he's also not a top option on his team. And Kawhi is, and the fact that he's going to come in and they're going to expect him to kind of be the same Kawhi, he'll probably struggle for the first half of the year. He'll still get his, but he'll probably shoot at a poor clip. He probably won't be the same defensive player after the injury, and I think he'll have to rely on Paul George a little bit more. So I think that's kind of why I just flip-flopped it a little. But we also don't know where KD is going to even be playing. Because if he's on a team,
Exactly.
they have to give up an exorbitant amount of people, and he's basically playing by himself. Like if he's in let's just say Phoenix, it's going to be him and Chris Paul. They're going to have to give up D-Book. they're probably gonna have to give up Ayton, and
There's no shot they're giving up D-Book.
But I mean, then there's no trade.
I mean, you don't think they go?
I don't think there's a trade.
Bridges,
I don't think there's a
Cam
trade at all
Johnson, Ayton. Bridges, Cam Johnson, Ayton.
And 5 picks.
And like 5 picks.
But the
You
only
don't
thing
do
is,
that. You don't do that if you're Brooklyn.
All right, but
I
still,
thought I'd do that.
All right,
I
so
agree.
I
I would have
too,
done
but
that.
Still,
But why didn't they just do that then? They could have signed and traded Ayton. So like,
Yeah, I don't think
almost
they're doing
like
it. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
that's
but-
why I don't think he gets traded at all because that's probably the best trade package for him, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like,
the
I don't
fact that
see-
they probably offered that, and the fact that they said no, they're
Yeah.
like, all right, well, we're not offering it again.
And
You
what
got-
Miami's
take it or
got,
leave it.
Miami's got their patented Harrow, Duncan Robinson, and picks, but they only got like 2 picks. Like, I don't want
But I would
Miami
st- I would
picks.
still
They're
take the
never
Phoenix
bad.
deal.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think KD just has to be in that next year. There's just no way.
Yeah. I just personally, I think him and Kyrie are just kind of trolling the media. I just think him and they probably just like, yo, let's control the narrative. These
Just
guys
bored.
always just want to talk about us, and
Yeah.
So
They're both so sick and tired of it.
Yeah, no. So I really think they're doing that. I mean, is there a part of them that probably was like, yo, is this kind of time to go our separate ways? Sure. But I really do think that they'll end up back in Brooklyn next year, especially with Ben Simmons. I think that will be, like I said earlier, a much better fit than Harden, because now Kevin Durant doesn't have to guard the best player on the floor.
Exactly.
So now when they go play Milwaukee, Ben Simmons, you got Giannis. I'll go guard Middleton, or Pat Connaughton,
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's.
I mean,
it's
if
a
Ben Simmons
relief.
can get right, like,
He'll be good, bro.
He'll be
People,
so
people
good
shit
for
on
them.
him way too much. Ben Simmons is going to be nice, bro.
he can't be like the guy, but
As a third
he's
option?
a third option to KD and Kyrie. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
But another thing about it is, I mean, obviously with the whole, not a political show, but the vaccination status with Kyrie. I mean, if that's gonna screw them over again, I mean, if then Ben Simmons has to step up and be the second option,
Yeah.
and is he prepared to do that? Is he able to do that? That's the biggest question, I think.
Yeah.
Because then if he's gonna have to guard the best player on the floor on the defensive end, and then he has to be the ball dominant player, is he gonna take away shots from KD? Because KD kind of needs to go to work. We've seen him be a spot up shooter in Golden State, but I mean, the floor spacing on that team is ridiculous. If you're there in Brooklyn and no Kyrie, there's no floor spacing whatsoever.
Yeah, and they got Seth, who's just low key,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they traded for Royce O'Neal, who another defensive
3-and-D guy.
guy. So
Yeah, but it's not the same as playing with the floor spacing that you had in Golden
no,
State,
of
though. That's
course
the
not.
thing.
No-
yeah,
nothing can
exactly,
equal that,
but
Right.
I think they'll be really good if they just stick it out. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about your top 10.
I got Giannis at 1. I just think, like, especially, like, since we were just talking about, like, how, like, LeBron is kind of like a Magic, like, I feel like Giannis is, like, I mean, this is not, like, some new take or anything, but he really is kind of like a young Shaq.
Yeah, like modern day.
Yeah,
Shaq.
like a modern day Shaq.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
he's just as dominant, but, like, in kind of a different way. And his shot is getting better.
It did get better.
And if it gets better again this offseason, like, I don't see how they stop him. I also think that they probably beat the Celtics and go to the finals if Middleton's not hurt.
Yeah, I do too.
So, not saying they beat the Warriors, but I think it would have been a really good series. I got LeBron at 2. I got Curry at 3. Luka 4. Jokic 5. KD 6. Embiid 7. Tatum 8. Kawhi 9. And then I threw D-Book in at 10. I
Really?
think 10 is...
Yeah, I feel
It might be too high for him. It's just like I could see Jimmy Butler being there. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like 8 through 15 is like almost like kind of interchangeable.
I
You
feel
have,
like you could toss a few guys in there.
I mean,
Butler, Dame,
Embiid,
Book.
Tatum, Booker, Jimmy Butler.
yeah.
Who else
AD.
kind of falls in? Paul George.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put AD. I'm
If he's healthy,
I'm
but
off the
If
AD
AD is
train.
healthy, he's in my top 10.
like he's
But the thing is, he's not. He's
Yeah.
he's never healthy, and he's not. I mean,
yeah, he's not.
he gets the defensive stats, but he's also not a defensive menace. Like, people aren't scared to go inside on the Lakers anymore. So
Right,
it's
right,
kind of
right.
like
Yeah.
I don't think he's washed or anything, but I wouldn't put him in the top 10.
Yeah, you could even make a case for CP3. I mean, he doesn't put up those numbers, but the way he just wins, like he just
I don't know.
I mean,
this
he's not
play,
top.
this
transforms
Are you
la-
saying he's top
teams.
15, or you're just saying like?
His
I'm
last
saying like if
playoff
you want, you
series
could make an
hurt him.
argument
It
that
hurt
he's
him a
close
lot.
to a
his
top
last
10
playoff
player.
series, like, bro, the day he turned, what was
Oh,
it, 37?
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like,
Well, because it's the playoffs. Like by then, like he's just played so many games.
nah, for sure. Yeah,
They
no,
need to
I
pull
like-
a Kawhi and just do the load management with him. Like
Yeah, but that's the thing. He wants to play.
yeah.
He doesn't want
and
to
if he
sit
does
out.
and if he does the load management, who says that the Suns end up as the top 3 seed.
Right, yeah. Cameron Payne is solid, but he's a NBA backup.
I like
Exactly,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love Cam. I think Cam Johnson's really good.
No, Cam Johnson is really good.
But he's not a point
And
guard.
then they got Mikal.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like
yeah, they got pieces,
they'd
but they
win
don't.
game. They
but-
wouldn't be the 1 seed, but
No,
They would be
Chris
the ones.
would be good.
I mean, if depending on load management and how many games he ends up playing, they're borderline playing.
Yeah.
They're what 8 seed if he only plays 30 to 40 games a season. If he plays half the year, I would say that they're probably a 7 seed. With the way Minnesota is
Remember
now.
when he went out though? When he broke his thumb during like All-Star break, they went like 9. They won a lot. Like out of 10 games, I think they were like 7-3, 8-2.
I get
or
it, but if
something
you
like
all right, so who's in the Pacific with them? Obviously, you got both LA teams. You got the
Sacramento.
Warriors, Sacramento. So obviously they're better than Sacramento, but we were just saying Sacramento gained a lot of great players, and if they're able to kind of like push them in the regular season, obviously they're not going to beat them.
they're not going to be an easy win.
It's going to make it tough for them, especially with no CP3 on the floor and Warriors coming off of a championship. Kawhi coming back. That's one of the hardest divisions in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting a
Clippers are gonna
cakewalk option.
They're going to be a problem next year.
Yeah,
Who, the
Clippers
Yeah.
will be really good.
Kawhi, PG, Norm Powell.
The Clippers will win a
Covington,
playoff series
John Wall.
next year. They could be a Western
Reggie,
Conference
even
Finals
Reggie
team.
Jackson's nice.
Why?
Yeah.
They could be a Western Conference Finals team.
100%.
The Clippers.
Oh, the Clippers, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But that's what I'm saying with the Suns. If CP3 only plays half the year,
Yeah,
I can't see
100%.
them being
No,
a top
no.
5 seed in the West.
No.
Yeah. You know what's
That's what I'm
crazy
saying,
is
borderline playing.
in our top 10s and even in like the honorable mentions, we were just tossing guys around. None of us even thought to say James Harden.
Yeah,
Which is
no,
crazy.
No, I don't think he. I think he's
think-
in that like 13 to 16 range right now.
Yeah, I think so too.
He just gotta. I saw something like yesterday. He basically is just like, he's got to prove it again,
yeah.
which is true. I mean, apparently that
Especially when you
hamstring
concede
really
15
bothered him
mil.
again last year,
Yeah.
and he wasn't himself. I love Harden's game, so I hope he comes back.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
He didn't look good in the playoffs outside of that like one
No.
game.
But he's never looked good.
He's
never
never
looked
looks good in the
playoffs.
playoffs, and that's what I think hinders him. Where it's like, yo, is this guy just a regular season talent?
I feel like he's had. I mean, he's definitely had some bad moments, but
He's had more bad moments than good.
if it
Yeah.
but think about it, though. I mean, this could just be me, but if it wasn't for those Warriors, the KD Warriors, like Harden
Especially
would
with
probably
CP3
have a
getting
ring
hurt.
right now. Him and
Yeah,
CP.
yeah, that's fair. But
he was
Harden
putting up
also
numbers.
did not. but it wasn't.
I mean, they
it
choked
wasn't
a lot
regular
in the
Let's
season
say,
playoffs.
Harden.
you think they beat the Cavs with Kyrie, K Love?
Hell
you think
no.
they beat the Cavs? I don't
Um,
think so.
Hell no.
No. The year where he went with like remember the year after Kyrie left and he like dragged like Jordan Clarkson and like
It was still him and K. Yeah, it was 2018.
him, Caleb, Jr.
Yeah,
Jordan-
Clarkson. Who else was there?
Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah, and then
Like, that
was the year
squad,
they
I
lost to
think
KD.
Channing Frye. Or was Channing Frye the year
I think,
after?
No, Channing Frye was gone. I think at that point.
Yeah, he was probably
But
gone.
If they played that Cavs team, I think they win.
I
don't think they beat- I don't think they-
who's guarding LeBron?
I don't think there's a world where LeBron loses to James Harden.
No, I don't think so either.
Not
No, that
Cavs
squad
LeBron.
was good. Just that year. I'm saying the year
Because
before.
that was
no.
the year he put up.
Because
What,
they had
51 a
CP
game
that
run, right?
year.
And
They
JR
had
mi-
CP,
JR
Eric
blew it.
Gordon. They had a squad that they won like 60-something games. No.
Yeah, but we're
close
saying
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're saying.
I
he's a
just don't
regular
think in the
season talent.
playoffs. Yeah. I just think in the NBA final. I mean, the guy. I mean, we've never seen him in the well. I mean, we did see him in the finals, but he was young in OKC. But I'm saying like the Harden we know today, we never saw him in the finals. So who knows what Harden we're gonna get? Because we know what Harden we get in the playoffs, but even the playoffs is a lot different than the magnitude of what the NBA finals brings, and we've seen that in a lot of guys.
Yeah,
that just
especially
cannot
Jimmy
show up in
Butler.
the finals. Yeah, but and Jimmy
Jimmy
Butler
Butler's
is
the
on the
opposite
other
end
end of it.
Exactly,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So we never
he's
really
just-
know.
He's got in the play. That is weird, honestly. He is just balls out in the
But
playoffs.
that's basically on court load management. He's basically load managing
Basically.
himself without
Yeah.
saying
Do
anything.
you guys think that Tatum was hurt in the finals this year?
No.
You just think he just had a rough showing?
He's young, bro. He's 23. This guy's a kid.
first?
No, I'm just saying because I was
finals
hearing.
appearance?
I was hearing. It was on the Bills. I mean, he's a Celtics fan. He was saying apparently I wasn't watching Tatum closely. He said apparently throughout the whole conference finals and finals, he kept like really grabbing at his shoulder like religiously.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the one when he
I
fell
wonder if
and he
he-
kind of got right back
Yeah.
up. I mean, maybe. I mean, who knows? I mean, obviously we'll never know. But I mean, I think he had multiple opportunities to win games, and he just didn't step up. And
Yeah.
I
Especially
think,
when he went to the bucket. he really wasn't going with any kind of force. And maybe that is due to the shoulder because he knows that he's getting contact and he's kind of like shying away
and I'm
from
not
it,
trying
so it
to
doesn't
like
really hurt him, but you never
I'm
really
not trying
know.
to defend Tatum. Like I was just wondering what you guys thought about it.
So our next one, we have our all-time top 5 by position.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So
sir.
all-time top 5 by position. So when you guys want to start us up and just go, we'll go through.
Let's go point guards.
Yeah, so you go your point guards, and then we'll go.
Yeah, I'll start it off.
Yeah.
So point guards, I got Magic at 1. I got Steph 2. I got Isaiah Thomas 3. Zeke, Isaiah Thomas.
Yep, of course.
Oh, no.
Not Celtics.
Celtics, Thomas, no?
I got CP3 at 4, and then I got Stockton 5.
Okay, I have Steph 1, Magic 2, Zeke 3, CP3 4, Stockton 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I have Magic, Steph, Stockton, CP3, Isaiah.
Okay, all right, so we
So
all
we
have
all
the
the
same
same-
top 5.
It's been like that
Interchangeable.
basically every single
Yeah,
time.
you can't
All right.
really. I mean, Isaiah Thomas, bro, like he was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just give Stockton the benefit of the doubt. All time.
Two guards
assist
we
man.
might
Shooting
have
guards,
a
I
little.
think, are going to be different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right,
I kind
let's-
of my fifth one, I kind of just
My fifth one actually changed before we started.
really.
Yeah, I thought it kind of sounded a little crazy. But I'll start.
Yeah,
I
start
had
it up, start it
MJ,
up.
Kobe, D Wade, AI, and now I have Drex. Before I put Clay, just because he has four rings. I had Clay, but I was like,
So-
we've never seen him as the number one
The
option.
AI was he?
I think he's a shooting guard.
Because he was listed when I looked it up as a shooting guard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's
when I think of him, like I kind of just think of just point guard. I don't know why.
I guess.
Well,
the
I guess
size.
because
Because
he's
he's
6'5".
so tiny,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the handles and stuff like that.
Yeah, nah, he's a 2 for sure.
Yeah.
You want to go, Zach?
Yeah, so I have I got Michael Jordan 1, Kobe 2, D Wade 3, AI 4, and I have Harden 5. Just obviously what he's done in the regular season is pretty ridiculous.
Right.
But yeah, I have Harden 5. It's
Yeah.
hard for me to put him over Drexler. I never saw Drexler play. But I think if James Harden played in the 80s and 90s, he would be a lot better than Clyde Drexler,
Okay.
personally.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think if Clyde Drexler played in today's game, he'd be a solid guy, but he wouldn't be Clyde Drexler.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
For sure.
I got MJ 1, Kobe 2, D Wade 3. I think everyone has a top.
Yeah,
same
yeah,
top
that has
four
to
is
be your
the
top
same.
3, yeah.
I put Harden 4, and then I was just a little like the AI thing. I kind of thought him as a point guard a little bit more, so I didn't put him on my top 5. I took T-Mac at 5.
Okay.
Just not like career-wise. I don't think he's
Didn't
had
he
a top
also
5
play-
career.
Wasn't he also a 3 at some points?
Yeah, he played 2.
He's kind of
I mean, you could
interchangeable,
play
but
him
his talent was just so
wherever, yeah.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw him on there. I didn't think there was a clear fifth guy, so
Yeah.
that's what I did with that one.
Ray Allen?
I'd take Clay over Ray Allen.
Yeah,
Really?
I think I would
Yeah,
take
for
Clay
sure.
over Ray Allen.
Really?
For sure.
There's just so many like shooting guard like that position.
I
is just
saw that.
stacked.
I mean, that could be.
Clay's better defensively, and I'm not. I mean, look, they both have incredible shots. I mean, it's really.
Ray Allen might have the best shot of all time.
I think Clay's looks more pure.
Oh, I'm talking
think
about
Clay's
like his shot in the finals.
Oh, yeah. But I think Clay's shot looks
Yeah.
more pure, and when either one of them gets hot, when any shooter gets hot, I've never seen anybody get hotter than Clay. Clay's shot when he's on, it's automatic. I mean, what was it? 18. How many points did he? 36 points in a quarter.
Yeah,
What-
and then
what
he
was
had
that number that
the
he had against the
like the
Kings?
60 points on like it was like how many dribbles did he have in that game?
It was like I think it was like 10 or 11 dribbles.
Yeah, that and then they took him out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I think when anybody, at least as a 2 guard, any shooter gets hot, I think Clay is.
Yeah, he's an all-time heat check guy.
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
an all-time heat check guy. So that's kind of why I put him over Ray. Also defensively, he's been the number 1 wing defender for the Warriors for every single championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just I don't know. Just Ray's prime was so crazy. And I
Yeah,
feel
when
like
he was on the
Clay's
Bucks and
too.
stuff.
Bucks in Seattle, Ray was like off the dribble. That guy was like 26 a night, and I just don't know if Clay would do what Ray did if Clay was by himself.
Well, yeah, but that's like we would we would
situational
never
thing,
know.
I
But I mean,
get
there
it.
was an opportunity for it when
Yeah.
K Love was on the block and they were thinking about trading Clay to Minnesota, but then obviously
Man, that trade would have been something.
that trade would have been insane.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he's better defensively. He's got just as good of a shot. He'll probably end his career with just as many 3-pointers as him. I mean, I don't know where he is
Probably
right
more.
now.
Probably more.
Probably more just because
I don't
of
know. He took 2
the
years
volume.
off.
I'm gonna look it up.
Who,
right
Ray?
now.
Oh, Clay.
Clay's been
Sorry, I
out 2
zoned out
years,
there.
so I mean maybe that might hurt him. But I mean we'll see. So where are we at now? Small forwards?
Yeah. You want to start it off?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I got LeBron 1, Bird 2, KD 3, Kawhi 4, Scottie Pippen 5.
Mine is pretty similar. I got LeBron 1, Bird 2, KD 3. I got Dr. J 4, and then I got Scottie 5.
Okay.
I definitely think you can make the Kawhi case. The Kawhi thing for me is like, as much as he's dominated in the playoffs and been as great as he has, he just like hasn't played that much. I saw a stat that I don't know, it was some random player who isn't really like even an all-star, who was like, and who's not even an older player. He had like more career points already or something.
Really?
It was like maybe it was like Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins is a 20. He's been point per game scorer. Probably for his career.
But it was like it was a stat that I was like, wow, that's like.
And Andrew Wiggins surprising. He plays like 75 games a year.
Yeah.
He's never I feel like he's played at least more than 70 every single year.
Yeah,
right.
Andrew Wiggins is good.
He deserves the credit that he's finally getting.
Underrated as the first overall pick in NBA draft, but he did have a slow start with Minnesota.
Yeah.
For me, I have LeBron, Bird, KD, Scottie, and then I have James Worthy. I have James Worthy at 5. He was one of the most prolific scorers of his time. He played on a team. They won 5 NBA championships. I think that his game even translates to today. I think his athleticism and his ability to kind of shoot off the dribble kind of really works in today's game as a wing. So that's kind of where I have him. And I was kind of surprised that you put Dr. J. He really didn't pop in my head when I was thinking of.
I thought about him, but I just feel like the era.
I feel like he's more like. I feel like I kind of picked him as more of like kind of an iconic pick.
Yeah.
Than actual maybe talent wise.
Wasn't Worthy one of the top scorers in NBA history when he retired?
I think he was close.
Yeah.
I think he was up there.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
I just looked up the all-time three-point leaders. Clay's at 18 right now with 1,912. He's behind J.R. Smith, which is kind of surprising, but
the boy J.R.
What's J.R. at?
J.R. is at 1930, so it's really nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think this year, how many threes do you think he averages a year? 150?
Nah, more than that.
More than that? 200?
Yeah, probably 200 plus.
All right, so 200. If he let's just say he gets 200 on the dot, make it easy. He's at.
At least for his career up until this point. I don't know if he hit 200 this year because he.
Who are you talking about?
Clay.
Clay.
How many threes he hits a year? Clay probably hits on average 2 threes a game. 2.5 threes a game. So you're looking at roughly 200, 160 and 40. Yeah, roughly 200. This year he probably didn't hit 200.
Right.
But. Because what was Steph's record? What he hit?
It's in the 4s.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Something ridiculous.
Right,
Clay
so
probably came close to 300, though, at least one
He's
of
up there behind
years.
Clay, I think, for single season.
His best year was 276 three-pointers.
Yeah, close to 3, yeah.
Yeah, so close to 3. That's his top end. This past year it was 114.
Yeah.
Last time he played in 18-19 was 240. So let's just say he gets 250 this year. If he gets 250, he jumps into the top 10.
Okay.
And he's 31, 32.
And Ray is what? 2 or 3? Was it Reggie? It's Steph.
He's 2 at 29.
Steph, Ray, and Reggie, right?
Yeah, so let's say Clay averages 250 for the next 3 years. That's, I can't even do the math enough. 750. So 750 plus the 9, he's at 26.
Yeah.
So he's 300 three-pointers behind.
What is Steph at right now?
Steph's at 3,100.
It's crazy.
You think that
31-17.
when he's done, that's got to be
4,000?
like an almost one of the most unbreakable records once
Trae Young
Curry's
will beat
done.
it.
You think?
Really?
Trae Young will beat it.
You know
Bro,
what?
Look at how many 3-pointers Trae Young has in his first 3 years versus Steph's first 3 years.
You know what? Talk about records. John Stockton's assist record.
That will never be broken.
Yeah.
I looked that up and I used
or steals.
I used it up with Trae. I looked up Trae, how
Especially
many
with the way
assists,
defenses
because
play.
Trae's been averaging double-digit assists his whole career.
Yeah, close. 9,
So
right around 9, 10, yeah.
I did it so if he had averaged 12 a year for 15 years, and he still wasn't even close to Stockton.
Yeah, no.
And back to that Kawhi thing, it is Andrew Wiggins. So Kawhi's career total in points is 11,085. Andrew Wiggins 11,519.
Yeah, it's fair.
How long has Trae been in the league?
3 or 4 years?
He came in with Luka, so this is year. Let's just look it up.
Well, him and Luka have the same amount
Threes?
of threes. Luka has 2 more. So
And what are they at right now?
730.
They had 4. This is going to be their 5th year. They're going into their 5th year.
They have 730 in 4 years. So times that by, I mean, say they play at least 12.
That's
times
two.
that by,
That's 200 a year.
Yeah. I mean,
But that's not even close to what Clay's been doing.
Clay
Or
or Steph,
Steph even.
about?
No, I'm saying. So Trey has 740.
Right. So
Total?
if he gets 200 a year for the rest of his career, so 200 times what, 12?
Yeah, but hold on, let me see.
I think
That's
Trey
20
can hit
that's
more than
2,400.
200. I think Trey can hit
24
more than
plus
200.
7 is 31. All
You
right.
got
So
to
yeah,
think though. Curry's at 3,100. You said or 33.
he's a 31-17.
And if he keeps hitting 250, 300 a year, I mean that's lowballing it with
Yeah,
Steph.
I mean, there's no
He
reason
could
for
end
Steph
up with
to.
4,500.
That's
like,
yeah, Steph.
45? Yeah.
I think he could hit
for sure.
4,500, and that's low. That might be lowballing it if he hits 300 a year. Like
Yeah, like I
it
can't
depends
see.
on how long. I feel like it's gonna come down to with Steph how long he wants to play. I don't think he's gonna
mean,
be one
I
of
think
those
he'll
guys.
continue to
Yeah,
play as
he-
long as he can.
You think?
For sure,
Yeah.
especially if Jordan Poole takes a step up where he could be the number one option, and Steph kind of just like sit off to the side, and when
Yeah.
he's 38,
Yeah,
and just kind of like
absolutely.
take on that Ray Allen role.
Yeah.
Nobody's
agree.
touching that.
Where are we at now? Power
Power
forwards?
forwards.
Yeah,
You want to start that, Sam?
yeah. Power forwards, all time, I got Duncan, Malone, Dirk, KG, and Barkley.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I have the
the only one
same.
in that order.
I have Tim, KG, Dirk, Malone, Barkley.
Okay.
I have Duncan, KG, Malone, Dirk. I put Giannis at 5.
Over Barkley.
Yeah. I'm projecting a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just think he's already got the ring.
Yeah,
got
the
two
rings.
MVPs.
He's got the accolades. He's got
Yeah,
it.
He's
no,
he's
that's
got the
fair.
accolades. I think he's got Defensive Player of the Year, right?
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time
So,
MVP.
I mean,
NBA
right
champion.
now, no, I would still take Giannis. I think he's got the ring,
That's fair.
and as much as it probably shouldn't matter as much, it seems to matter a lot these days. I can go right into center if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
I got Kareem, Shaq, Bill Russell, Wilt, and then Hakeem.
I have the same 5.
So I mean,
I got
Yeah.
the same 5 also. In a
they're
different order.
basically all in our top 10 all times.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I have
I
Shaq.
when I was doing this, I was like
Oh, you
kind of
got Shaq
surprised.
Shaq won, yeah, for sure.
Was he over Kareem in your top 10?
That's what I was saying. Like it ties so into. There's so many
let me
centers
see.
in the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, no, yeah, I guess that's tough. Yeah, I have them flipped here. But I just feel like, I don't know, when I think center, I just think Shaq.
I
just
feel
feel
you
like,
on
if I had to pick my all-time starting 5,
You'd
I'm
pick
picking
Shaq?
Shaq.
I think
That's
I
my
agree with
center
you.
over Kareem. But I just felt like all-time, I feel like you had to put Kareem as an all-time player above. So like this is position-based.
I see
so
what
that's
you're
why I'm
saying.
taking
No, that makes
Shaq
sense.
over. Like,
I
so-
agree. Like-
yeah, so like if I need a starting 5, my all-time starting 5, I would have Steph at the 1, MJ at the 2, LeBron at the 3, Timmy at the 4, and I would take Shaq at the 5 rather than Kareem.
Well, I think it's a little different just because I would probably take Steph over Magic also, but I have Magic as a higher ranked as a point guard just because if I'm building a team, I'm thinking about how I want my offense run. Because if we're doing that, then I would basically have LeBron play the 1. I would have him be the ball dominant player. I'd put Steph at the 2, let MJ run the 3. The 4 is Tim Duncan, and then I'd have probably just for defensive purposes, if I'm just thinking about how I want my team run, I would probably put either Tim Duncan at the 5 just to have that defensive kind of player in his prime. I mean, he's a defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
So I'd probably have him there just because I know I don't need him to score. I don't need Kareem to do his skyhook. I don't need Shaq to run a pick and roll. I don't need Hakeem to go to work and do his dream shake or whatever. Like I think that kind of aspect changes when you're making a top 5 roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, because it's like I see what you're saying, Zach. 'Cause it's like I think I agree. Like I think Shaq is the most talented and like dominant center. But then when you put Kareem in the all-time rank, you're kind of just like giving him his flowers for everything
Right,
he's
yeah.
done, the longevity,
Yeah,
points
exactly.
record, things like that. So I think it'll. Yeah, I mean I agree
Yeah.
with what you said exactly. Do you guys want to get into the buying and selling stock?
Yeah, for sure. You have like 3 players.
I got
right?
some players.
Yeah,
so
I got
this
3.
segment is going to be just if you're buying, like almost like a stock, like in the stock market. If you're buying stock on these players, you think they're going to go play well this year or play worse. So my first player is Andrew Wiggins, coming off, crazy finals run, whole playoffs, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen people saying he should get like a max extension, and then I'm just not so sure of that. What do you guys think? Is it situational? Do you think like it's just because he's in Golden State and he has Steph and Clay and Draymond around him, or do you think he could go anywhere now and he's just changed as a player?
I'm going to buy stock on Andrew Wiggins just because I think he's, like, flourished in that role. I think he's, like, our modern-day Iguodala, and I think he's a better offensive player than Iguodala by far. At least when Iguodala was on the Warriors, by far.
Oh, yeah,
Wiggins
for sure.
Is much
I think
more
he's better.
skilled.
I think he's better defensively also. So
Maybe,
people
yeah.
say like, oh,
I mean,
Iguodala locked up LeBron. He won the MVP. LeBron averaged a triple double with 34 points. Like,
Yeah.
34-point triple double. What did you actually do other than make him tired on the defensive end?
I never understood that.
It was weird. It should have been Steph
crazy.
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm definitely buying stock on Wiggins, especially on the Warriors, just because of how well he did in that role, and I think he enjoys that role now. I think he came into the league
for him.
a little like. Obviously, he was the number one pick. He was like, they said he was
Got
going to be the
traded
best
immediately.
thing since Kobe and LeBron, and so I think he came into the league and he kind of like didn't know like what he was. Am I a scorer? Am I a number one option? But it's like, now I have 3 guys that can go score the ball 20 plus a game with Poole, Clay, and Steph. Obviously,
Yeah.
I got Draymond doing everything else, all the dirty work, facilitating. I just got to play defense and I got to score. You know what I mean? When I get the ball, right, coming off the dribble. And obviously he has the toughest take because I think the 3 is the toughest position in the NBA. So he has the toughest matchup most nights. And I think he thrived in that position. So I would buy stock on Wiggins for sure.
Yeah, for Wiggins, I think another thing coming in, he was in such a bad organization with Minnesota. They really didn't know what they wanted to do. They tried to bring in D'Lo in. I mean, Cat was still young. They had such a young team. And I don't remember who the coach was there, but they definitely didn't put them in a situation where they were actually able to thrive because there wasn't any veteran figure to kind of point them in the direction and give them an idea of how they should play in the NBA.
Yeah, I heard he lacked like a lot of work ethic in Minnesota too.
Right.
Because he didn't have that vet, like
Exactly,
you said, to like push him because he didn't really know.
Yeah, Robert Covington was there.
Yeah.
He was young at that
Well,
time
they had the
also.
Jimmy Butler story where he
Exactly.
played with the backups and beat them all. But,
Beat them.
sometimes I feel like it's like that type of tough love doesn't work on someone.
No, it doesn't.
Because Jimmy, like, that's his mindset is just like, you got to just work.
Right.
And, like, maybe Wiggins just needed a different approach to that.
Yeah.
I'm buying stock on him as well. Also, like
Who?
what you said, Wiggins. You said,
right.
like, I brought up, like, is Tatum hurt? Like, he probably wasn't, and Wiggins just locked him up. Like,
Right,
Wiggins had his number all series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying with him. So the second player is DeAndre Ayton. I feel like this one's kind of good because the Suns, there was a lot of stuff going on. The Suns didn't think he was a max player, but they kind of had no choice to match that offer sheet because you can't let the number 1 pick just walk for nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm buying stock on DeAndre Ayton. I think he's a great player. I think anyone who's basically a star on a team that wins like 65 games, like, I'm buying the stock on them.
I think it's just tough because like now he has to live up to that contract, and
Yeah, but he had the number 1 tag. He was picked over Luka. Like, I do think he's had like that chip on his shoulder.
I get that, but I think we've seen plenty of times in every sport, players get a big contract and they just burn out. They stop trying. They really aren't able to live up to that deal, and. I mean, not saying that he's going to be a bum now. He can still average 15 and 10, 15 and 11,
10,
whatever.
like
16, 10, and 11, whatever it is. But that's still if you're talking about his he's basically plateauing at that point. You're not making any money on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm selling on Aiden.
I'm
not sold on him. I never loved him like since he's been in the league. I still don't. The NBA is not a big.
Where do you go to college?
league.
Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The NBA is not a big driven league. And then I think playing with Booker and CP3 is kind of hurting his development as a dominant big just because both of them are so ball dominant and he has to find the ball a lot, like off the offensive glass, or pick and roll situations. Like there's a guy, you know what I mean? Like there's guys on Phoenix that I feel like a JaVale McGee if people let JaVale McGee play, he could be just as efficient, if not more efficient, just because he doesn't.
He's gonna turn up on the Mavs this year.
That's what
like
I'm
low
saying.
key.
That was
like,
the Mavs? I thought he was in.
Nah, he signed for the Mavs. I think 3 years,
signed for
$30 million.
Dallas.
So he's gonna be their starting center, and then they're gonna run Wood at the 4.
Yeah.
What about and
Luka's gonna average 15
assists. Powell.
Yeah,
Powell's another center.
No, not Norman Powell. Jeez, what's his name?
Number 7,
Dwight
Powell. Yeah.
Powell. They might have lost him in free agency. I think he went somewhere else.
Did he?
Yeah,
Did
maybe. I could have sworn that.
Who knows?
But yeah, no, I'm selling 8.
No,
I'm selling 8.
yeah, I could see it. I mean,
think
it's
his
fair. I
price
think he's in a
peak,
really
yeah.
good situation with Phoenix. I don't know if I want him as like one of my top 3 guys necessarily, or at least definitely the 3rd guy.
Right,
but
right,
I see what you guys are saying. 3rd player is Lonzo Ball. I feel like Lonzo showed out in the beginning of the year. The Bulls were just playing so well.
Right.
But he's another guy with that injury bug.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think it has to be like taken in as a factor.
Right.
So
I would buy if healthy. Right. It's hard
I think
to
the
say
stock's
that, but
low right now, so I would buy as well.
Yeah, if healthy, I'm buying. I'm
Yeah.
buying Lonzo for sure. I like Lonzo, especially in Chicago.
Definitely.
Levine and DeMar, and I think
And
that
Caruso,
takes a lot of
like-
pressure off of him. Caruso's a dog.
Caruso
too.
is-
Yeah.
He just makes things happen. I can't believe the Lakers let him go.
Yeah.
But I got 2 more. I just added these 2.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell. I feel like a lot of people are kind of down on him. Apparently, I mean, not apparently. He was a turnstile on defense during the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I wonder if part of that is was just over it with Utah. He knew they had no chance to win, which is not an excuse. But some people, he's in that middle space right now. I'm seeing, especially since like the trade rumors are like 6 picks and all these young guys, and it's like, is he like one of those guys that you would make a huge trade for, or what do you guys think about that?
I think it depends on the situation that he gets traded into. Because if he goes to the Knicks, obviously they already have a young team. They have R.J. Barrett and now Jalen Brunson. I think that they're a team that can definitely make him the star and build the team around him and build the offense around him.
He's from New York too.
Exactly, yeah. And you see him at all the Met games. And you see
Big
him,
Mets fan.
Yeah, I think he was at a couple Ranger games too in the playoffs. I think that he would feel more comfortable. I think he would feel more comfortable there. So I think that he was a guy I had that I was buying stock on. So I think that he can definitely work on his defensive effort. And like you said, maybe he was just tired of the Utah situation. He was kind of pushing himself out. And, yeah, I think that Donovan Mitchell is a perfect player to buy stock on.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to sell him just because of how talented he is. He's like an Amazon or a Disney stock. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna keep.
He's a blue chip.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
yeah,
blue
you
chip
can't.
talent.
You'll get your
sell
dividends on
Donovan
him, and
Mitchell.
you'll be able to make money, but it's not going to be an immediate impact.
No, exactly. It's a gradual, slow grind with him. But yeah, no, he's still a star.
Yeah, I agree. I'm buying stock on Donovan Mitchell. I threw him in there because I feel like while a lot of people still think he's great, I feel like he's gotten a lot of slander recently.
Yeah, but I mean, because people are so easy to talk about, like,
It's just in
what
the
have you done
moment.
for me lately? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, cool.
Recency
applause.
bias.
Recency bias,
Yeah.
exactly.
All-time high with him. I mean,
Yeah, so it's like
he's
bro,
been
this
so
guy's
good
still-
in the playoffs outside of this year. Last person is Jordan Poole.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy just because I think he understands his role now with Golden State, and I think he has a ring now, and now I think he understands how good he could be, and he could be like an all-time 6-man. The Warriors could win. The Warriors could win 3 more. And I mean, if he is coming off the bench, averaging 15 plus a game for this Warriors team, and he really starts to step up in the playoffs, I mean, this guy could flourish into like a J.R. Smith 6-man. You know,
Do you think
Jamal
he wants that,
Crawford,
though?
Manu
Do you think he
Ginobili.
wants
I
to
don't
be a
think so. I think
six-man?
it kind of gets to his head, his performance. I think he'll kind of like, I don't think he's going to take ridiculous shots, but I think he's going to kind of try and take over at points as if he is that guy, and I think it'll kind of hurt them. I think that they could still win the chip, no doubt. I think that they're probably the deepest team in the entire league, but I just don't know if he's fully committed to that role because we need to see it over an 82-game season and not a 16-game playoff.
Because, I mean, Kerr, they did not overplay him in the playoffs.
No.
He was only playing like 20 minutes a game for the most part.
Yeah, now he's expected to take on another role, and not another role, but more minutes in a higher efficient role. We got to see if it's actually going to happen. But it would be a perfect time to buy it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that if he has another season like this, he's going to be I think he'll be restricted next year. He's in that RJ Zion Ja class.
He's going to get paid.
You think he's going to leave and try and be the guy somewhere?
Yeah, they're not going to.
That's what I'm thinking.
They're not going to be able to match it.
Yeah, the luxury tax would just be insane.
I mean, it would either be him or Clay. They'd have to let one go.
I don't think they can let go of Clay.
I don't think they would let go of Clay.
No. I don't either. Yeah, but I would still buy Poole. Yeah, I would buy.
Did you say what you'd do, Sam?
What?
You're gonna buy or sell stock on Poole?
I'd buy Poole, but I'm hovering my finger over the sell button. I'm waiting for it to dip.
I think
I don't know.
I think I agree with you. I definitely would buy. Especially if he had his own. If he let's say some random team just gives him a max, because that's probably what he'd go for if he has a season like he just did.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially a playoff
he'll
run.
get $100 million. He'll get $100 million.
Yeah, I love Poole. I think he's fun to watch. Also,
yeah, no,
he's a heat check guy.
Yeah,
he's really good. He's young too. He's only
energetic,
been in the league 3
talented.
years.
Yeah,
exactly. He keeps getting better.
Who you got?
I had Zion.
Okay.
I had Zion Williamson.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
What y'all doing?
I'd buy it. Obviously, I mean, he looks like he's another situation with Luka. He lost weight. Looks like he's ready to come back, and he's healthy, and he's kind of prepared to bring the Pelicans to where they want to be as a team, especially as a young team. Another player that I'm hovering over that sell button just because I don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay committed to keeping his weight down and making sure that he's in peak condition for an 82-game season. Because he's another player. If he's able to do what Jimmy Butler does and load manage while on the court and not try and be the top player in the NBA and try and act like he's Giannis and do all this crazy stuff, 360 dunks on the breaks. If he can shy away from that and just lightly dunk it, you don't need to put on a show the entire time, I think that he can definitely propel himself. I'd buy it, but I'm being cautious about it.
I'm buying. Zion's just he's just so talented. I agree with Sam though. He was looking big.
Yeah, facts.
What was his high? It was 275 or something.
I don't know.
285.
But the thing is, it was one day he's looking skinny in a picture, took a picture with a fan, and then the next day he's looking huge at the game.
Kind of like Harden.
Yeah, I don't think we can really believe unless you were next to the guy.
Exactly. But I'm buying stock in Zion. His
pounds.
talent. Yeah. I'm buying stock. His talent's just too much.
Yeah, I'm
to
buying.
ignore.
I'm buying as well. Just
especially
because,
I mean, on that Pelicans team too, they're gonna be so fun to watch this year.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be a 25 and 12 a night, shooting 60% from the field. He's gonna be. Legit.
If he stays healthy, he's just unreal.
I just know a lot of people that are just yo, he's a bust. Yo, he's not gonna play. Yo, he's fat. Yo, he's out of shit. And it's come on, man.
I mean, even with
court, watch the guy.
Even when he's overweight, he's doing 360 in between the legs dunks. He's just.
He doesn't need to do that though. That's what's putting him in a position where he can't stay on the court.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it could be something else. We don't know, but from what we're seeing, it's just something that he doesn't need to do.
Yeah,
facts.
He
needs
for sure.
to try and be an efficient player.
But if he takes care of his body, and it's all the top guys, the guys like Harden, he's been on and he was basically gained weight to get traded from the Rockets. And then you look at guys like LeBron and Giannis who take care of their bodies, that's their number one priority. Zion needs to become one of those guys, and then he can be an all-time great. He's got so much talent.
Yeah. Another guy I had that I just kind of thought of that I also kind of in that boat is Anthony Davis. So, I mean, me personally, I'm buying AD. I think he's just had some shit luck the past 2 years.
Yeah.
With just some injuries, just shoulder, ankle, hamstring, you know what I mean? Just kind of these nagging injuries that can be prevented. And I think these past year and a half was a wake-up call for him, because I did some research and they were saying that he's having one of the best off seasons he's ever had in his career.
Even though there was that video that came out I haven't touched the basketball.
Stephen A.
Yeah, was not having it.
Yeah, no, but I think he's going to have a crazy year this year. I mean, he could be even a most improved candidate, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
But coming off an injury, it's possible. So I think I'm definitely buying stock on AD, and I think the Lakers. Will be a lot better this year, especially with him on the floor.
Yeah. Personally, he's one of my sell candidates. I'm I'm over with it. It's the same thing every single offseason. Oh, well, if he could stay healthy, if he's able to kind of stay on the floor and do what he has to do to be that top guy. Like you were saying before, like, oh, if AD's healthy, he's a top 8 player. And like I said, I was like, probably close to that 13 range for me now. He's just not consistent enough. Health-wise, obviously when he's on the floor, he puts up numbers. But I just don't think that he's able to do it. I mean, we've seen it long enough. He's been in the league since, what, 2012? He's been in the league for a decade now, and it's the same thing with him. He never was able to get it together. Yeah. And I think the Pelicans front office might have agita about it, and they're worried about Zion doing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a buy stock with AD. Just because the talent's there. Like, if he can stay on the court, he's one of the top 10 guys in the league. Him and LeBron, like, I mean, just those two alone, even if Westbrook can't do anything, like, they're a top 5 seed in my mind. So yeah, I'll buy stock with him. But I see what you're saying. Like, if he can't put it together this year, kind of like he's just got the injury. He's just got the injury tag all over him.
But 10 years doesn't do it though. Like,
I think he falls into that category with if he gets hurt again. I think he falls into that Tracy McGrady, Derrick Rose, Penny Hardaway, Brandon Roy, Gilbert Arenas, like guys that were just uber talented and just could not stay healthy.
But if he can do it, like the Lakers have a legit chance at winning a title with him and LeBron if they're both healthy.
Yeah, we've seen it. I mean, it's not something that we don't already know. It's just, I think LeBron might even be sick of it, to be honest with you.
Oh, I think he definitely is.
Like, and that's why I think he's so interested in getting Kyrie in the building, because if you're able to get Kyrie, you don't need to really worry about AD because he knows what he's going to get out of Kyrie. He knows that he's going to be able to depend on him night in, night out, outside of not being able to play for other reasons. But health-wise, you don't really have to worry about Kyrie, especially after tearing his ACL.
Do you trade Kyrie and Ben Simmons for Westbrook and AD?
Who am I? Like, am I the Lakers front office?
Yeah, you're the Lakers. Get rid of Westbrook and AD, and you get Ben Simmons and Kyrie.
The only reason why I probably wouldn't do it is because I would have to attach a pick for it, just because you're downgrading at the point guard position if you're the Nets, and they're gonna want to pick for it, and they know AD's not gonna be able to stay on the floor.
The old Lakers special, Talon Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, and the 2027 first.
That's what
have you guys seen the meme? It's like, have you seen the old reliable SpongeBob meme?
Yeah.
They open it up and it's just
an offer everyone.
Uh-huh.
Kendrick Nunn in the 2027 first.
But that's my point. Like, it's just like they know that you're not really able to get anything for Westbrook at that point, and if you're adding AD to it, you need to attach a pick to it because you can't trust AD. I think
take whatever you want. If I can get Kyrie and Ben Simmons and get rid of Westbrook, and then you don't
for
know
the
if
Lakers
you're
it
gonna
makes
get
sense,
healthy.
but for the Nets, they're going to want for more. It's not a 2-for-2 swap.
Yeah.
You have to attach picks to it, and Lakers don't have much picks left.
Right.
And I doubt
That's
Bus
why
and them
they
are going to
don't
want
want
to
to do it, right? Because if
I mean,
LeBron says
starting to
next
get
year,
some
he's like, because Kyrie can leave too. Like, if they trade for Kyrie, trade all their picks, and LeBron's like, yo, I'm out of here. Like, then they're really fucked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I would do it. I think the Lakers but like, what's AD's trade value? Can I just trade AD straight up for something else and get like way more? Like, can I get like 4 or 5 first-round picks and just like
for AD? No.
You don't think so?
4 first-round picks for a guy who plays 40
it.
games a year? No shot.
Yeah, not right now. Maybe 2 years ago. Not right now.
If you did it just like,
I wonder, what do you think AD's trade value is right now? Like,
I think AD's trade value is probably 2 middle starters, like probably like a player like CJ McCollum and somebody else, like CJ McCollum and somebody else in a pick if you send him back to New Orleans. I think that's honestly it.
Yeah.
Because you're really not getting much out of him. You're getting 40 games, and when he's on the floor, hopefully he's 26-10. But now that he's playing with Zion, assuming that he goes back to the Pelicans, but I'm just saying. For me, buying and selling, I'll just run through it real quick. Buying, I got Brunson, just because he has his own team. He's going to be able to be a ball-dominant kind of guy. He's in a situation where he's comfortable on a young team with the Knicks. Number 2, I got Jaylen Brown. I think he kind of showed out. He kind of showed that he could be a number 1 option. I think if Jason Tatum is willing to take a little bit of a step back, I think that he can kind of like flourish as that number one option, especially offensively and defensively. If he can go on the floor and average, I mean, what does he average right now? 22 a game, 24,
23, 24. Yeah.
Yeah, if he can bump it up to 27 and Jason Tatum takes a step back, I honestly think that he can prove that the Celtics could be a number one option.
I don't think the Celtics would allow that.
I don't think that they might not allow that, but
Tatum is just like, it's like Tatum is almost just thrown and molded to be this superstar and like the face of a league, and I don't know if he'll ever get there. I don't know if Tatum will hit that LeBron, KD, Kawhi tier. I think he's just gonna. I just feel like he'll always just slightly be right under it. But I don't know if Jaylen Brown is that tier either. I don't know if Jaylen Brown is a Harden, D Wade esque type player.
Yeah, I feel that. I just think that how he showed out in the playoffs and especially the finals, he's proven that he has the ability to do it.
Yeah.
We don't know obviously what it looks like over an 82 game schedule. I think if you're the Celtics, you just gotta try it out. You're gonna make the playoffs regardless. Just try it out for up until the All-Star break. If it's not working out, go back to what you were doing before. You know that it's able to get you to a championship.
Yeah.
Well, at least in the running for a championship. I just think that Jaylen Brown overall is a better player than Tatum, especially in playoff basketball. He's an overall better player than Tatum.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that they kind of just figured it out, though. Like, I feel like for a while, because they were underperforming that whole team for like 2 years, and then something clicked. And I feel like it was Tatum and Brown kind of just figuring out like how to play together, like what they are. But I could see what you're saying.
Like, yeah, it worked during the regular season, and Tatum was the number one guy.
Yeah.
But it's just, and obviously he could have been injured, and we don't know that yet for sure. But for Jaylen Brown, he just seems like a Jimmy Butler kind of guy where he just knows when he can flip a switch and turn it on and do what he has to do on both ends of the floor. And that's why I'm just buying him. I think his stock rose after that finals performance.
Yeah, no, I would buy Jaylen Brown, and then for Brunson I would sell personally. I just don't think
Zach don't like Brunson.
No, I just don't. I just feel like the Knicks do it a lot, where they just kind of gamble and they just kind of reach just to make the fans happy that they made a move. When it's like, is Jalen Brunson, unless you get Donovan, even if you get Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell, you're not getting out of the second round in the East. You're not beating Milwaukee. You're not beating. I don't think you're beating Brooklyn if everyone stays. You're not beating Boston. You're not beating Miami. I think a good matchup for them would be Atlanta again.
Chicago.
You're not beating Chicago. You might go to 6 or 7 games with Atlanta, with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young and Capella and Collins, Brunson and Mitchell and Barrett and Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle. I don't love it. And then you got 3 guys, 4 ball-dominant guys.
Yeah.
Brunson needs the ball. You saw that with Luka. Every time he got the ball, he had to make something happen. He's not a pass-first point guard. He's a scorer, and he thinks he is as well. RJ, ball-dominant. You bring in Donovan Mitchell, he's also very ball-dominant, and so is Julius Randle. But I think Brunson will help Julius because now Julius can get the ball in the mid-post where Julius doesn't have to bring the ball up and try to create all the time. Brunson will alleviate some of that pressure. But I'm just not sold on Brunson. Brunson's not taking New York over the top. I think the Knicks could have used another year. And I know Knicks fans hate to hear it. They could have used another year where you get another pick or you wait until you can go get a top-tier guy. Jalen Brunson's not in the top 3 tiers in the NBA. He's not even in the top 3 tiers in that position. So it's like, what is he really doing to give him,
the only thing I'll say is I think what you said, I agree, like, they are not that team this year, even with Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. But I think the thing with Brunson, which is I'll buy Brunson stock. I mean, I just like Brunson no matter where he is. He just gives them, like, some type of consistency, which they just haven't had. Like,
yeah.
And at the same time, even if, like, so let's say they made a trade for Donovan Mitchell or whatever, and they're running out Brunson, Spida, RJ, Randall, Robinson, and they got Hartenstein, D. Rose, and maybe it's either they're gonna probably keep either IQ, Obi, or Grimes. One of those 3, I'd say they probably.
Well, I think they have to get rid of Obi for a D. Mitch trade.
Yeah. I'm just saying
they literally might have to get rid of all 3 of those.
Yeah.
guys.
So just saying they do that. The only thing I'll say is like in the playoffs, a lot of things happen. And I'm not saying they're better than all these teams. But if they can get out of the first round, then things happen. Like, players get hurt. Like, you kind of just want to be in the mix. And the benefit of that is they're all young guys still. Even Randall, who I don't think will be a Knick long term.
No.
He's like 27. I think he maybe just turned 28.
Yeah.
But, like, they have that young core. They can do things. Like, you can't trade the consecutive firsts anymore, so they'll still have picks.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they traded 6 in the next, is it 5 years they have 11 picks, or is it the next 7 years they have 11
7.
picks? So they'll still have, what, 5?
Yeah.
So I agree. Like, I don't think it makes them, like, a real title contender, but I think it gives them some excitement, and then anything can really happen. But I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like, they're not one of those top teams.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, look at the Hawks, like, last year. Like, what were they, the 5th seed? And I don't think anyone really thought they had a chance. And they almost made it to the finals. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'll say about it is I think things happen, and it could, but I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like, they're not going to beat the Heat. They're not going to beat the Celtics.
Speaking of the Hawks, a player that I would buy on is DeJounte. I think DeJounte is a perfect complement to Trae Young. I mean, you basically got an offensive threat and a defensive menace playing side by side with each other. I think it's kind of perfect. And plus, DeJounte could get his.
How well does he play off the ball though? Because Trae needs the ball.
I think he can figure it out. I think he can learn.
Can't shoot.
He can't shoot, but I mean, I will say this, that Trae Young demands so much attention when he crosses half court, just like Steph. If he pulls 2 defenders out, if DeJounte could just get the pass and go, and just attack the rim and then dish it off to whoever is still there, Hunter, dish it off to him down low, or just anybody really.
Yeah, Capella, Collins.
Yeah, Collins. Yeah, Collins is another one.
Who else they got? Who else do they have on the wing?
Lou Williams is on the bench.
Hunter plays on the wing.
Yeah, Hunter's a 3.
They got Bogdanovich.
Right. Yeah, no, they're a good team. I have to see it. I have to see it first. I need to see Murray and Trae just play. Just because I know just Murray is kind of like a triple-double type guy, and he's just really not a shooter.
Yeah, he just had every opportunity last year.
If he's willing to step back and take on that Andrew Wiggins role, he could thrive in it. He doesn't have to worry about scoring the basketball. He can sit back and he can.
Guys, though, you know?
I understand it's tough, but I mean, Trae's going to get 30 a game. So if you can sit back and you'll take your 16, 17 a game, Hunter can get you 13, and Clint's getting you 12 and 12. I mean, they're one of the most well-rounded teams in basketball if they can put it all together.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be willing to take a step back, and if DeJounte can understand that, I think that they're very threatening, especially in the Southeast with Miami down there.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting backcourt. But yeah, no, this was dope. This was dope first episode. I mean, I know we have like so many more topics, and I'm sure we all like came up with more.
I saved it.
We were like going, but.
Big losers.
Last thing.
AD, Harden, and Beal were my 3 losers.
I'd sell.
Oh, yeah?
AD, Harden, and Beal. I sold all of them.
I'd sell that Murray stock, by the way.
Yeah?
That's the only one.
I
like Murray.
I'm waiting on it. I'm not buying it immediately, but I just think that they're in a good situation. But like I said, I'm selling AD. I don't think he can stay healthy. Harden, I think he's kind of.
You said you're selling Harden?
I'm selling Harden.
Yeah.
I would sell Harden stock as well, as much as I like Harden.
And I'm selling Beal.
Stock.
Like you said in the beginning of the episode, I think Washington doesn't have a direction. Beal doesn't have a direction. I'm done.
He's just going to – it's the same thing they all do.
I mean, he'll average 27 a game next year, 28
and then he'll request a trade.
and
they get their bag, and then they request a trade. But
what top end teams are going to be able to take on that contract now? Now that everybody's getting a quarter of $1 billion, what team is willing to go over that luxury tax?
He'll go down as the Wizards' all-time leading scorer.
Good for him.
Yeah.